Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi and welcome to all. I am Dr. Aisha. Hope all of you are fine and ready for today's class. It's for station 3, neurology. It's continuation of my previous lectures, right? Some candidates might be new today. We have started the lower limb, right? Approach to lower limb, because as already I have told that in neurology, although the books are full of the lengthy neurology, but in reality there are 6 to 7 topics in general, or commands which you are getting in the PCS exam, right? And one of that is approach to lower limb, approach to upper limb, and few more I have told already. The candidates who are new today, I don't think so they will be knowing, but the candidates who have attended my lecture before, they will be knowing. Inshallah, one day I can discuss it again, no problem. So I have already started how to approach the lower limb, right? When you are in the exam, as always I am telling, when you will enter in the paces, for the paces in the neurology station, two examiner or one examiner, they will greet you cordially, right? And they will take you to the patient, and actually they are taking you to the command which is pasted behind the patient bed, right? And the command can be examine lower limb, or this patient presented with ataxia, or straight away examine lower limb. So you have to follow the command, right? Because you are being assessed on the basis of command whatever is given to you. But as always I am telling, when the command is examine lower limb, right? Finish your all steps of lower limb examination within 4 minutes. Total you have 6 minutes, right? So finish all steps of lower limb examination within 4 minutes and keep the remaining 2 minutes for the relevant examination, right? Relevant examination, it will take you up and you can get full marks, and it can narrow down your diagnosis. It can leave a very good impression on the examiner, right? So if anybody can just repeat which steps, what are the steps of lower limb examination, just broadly, which I told in my previous lecture. It will be helpful for the new candidates who have joined us today. Anybody can repeat the steps of lower limb examination, which I told in my previous lecture? Anybody?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum Assalam. Yes, Dr. Abdul Rahman.
The steps start by inspection of the patient. Then, according to the structure given, examine the motor system of the lower limb. I will start the motor system, the sensory system, coordination, and other relative examination.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Dr. Abdul Rahim. So first, the first component is inspection, inspection of the patient and inspection of surrounding, right? You have to inspect the surrounding as well. And this already I have told that what you can expect in the surrounding. I told in my previous lecture, I have told you the importance of inspection, and I told you 3 precious opportunities of inspection as well, right? So your inspection should be very strong. You can make your diagnosis just on the basis of inspection, right? This I told you last time also. Inshallah, I'll repeat it because today my topic is not this. Na? Today I want to complete my topic, so I will not explain these things which already I have explained. If still you have any question, you can ask, no problem. I will be happy to repeat again. So, also I told you that when you are examining lower limb, right? I told you that before examining sensory system, you have to ask 2 questions from yourself, right? And what are those 2 questions? Anybody can repeat who was in my previous lecture? Dr. Abdurrahim.
Is it monoparesis or paraparesis, or and it is upper motor neuron lesion or lower motor neuron lesion? First, is it upper motor neuron?
Yes,
Yeah, please.
Upper motor neuron or lower motor neuron lesion, is it unilateral or bilateral? I mean symmetrical or asymmetrical?
Excellent. Thank you. Dr. Joy Moti and Dr. Abdurrahim. Very nice. So, you did inspection of lower limb, you did examine the motor system of lower limb, right? Before examining sensory system, these two questions you have to answer to yourself. And what are those two questions? Number one, this is upper motor neuron type of lesion my patient is having, or lower motor neuron? My patient is having monoparesis or paraparesis? Okay, because why these two questions are important? Because there is different differential for if monoparesis and upper motor neuron lesion, different differential. If upper motor neuron lesion and paraparesis, different differential. If monoparesis and lower motor neuron, different differential. If paraparesis and lower motor neuron, different differential, right? So you have to work on these four differentials. That's why these questions are important. And how we will decide that what my patient is having out of these four differential, it will be decided, right? That what diagnosis and what differential on the basis of sensory system, right? So this is my topic today. These just I summarize the few things from my previous lecture. If any questions so far, you can ask. Otherwise, I will move. Today my topic is if your patient is having upper motor neuron type of lesion and both limbs are affected. So what is the differential? How you have to then narrow down your diagnosis? What relevant examinations you have to do? Any question till now, you can ask. One thing I will like to tell that I have recorded audios on every station. If some candidates they are not knowing, my audios, these are available on Google Drive as well as available on YouTube. It is free for all. I just recorded for the help of my respected colleagues. And please, when you are starting for the PC's preparation or when you are going to read any topic, first listen my audio and then read that topic from any book of your interest. Right? In my audio, I have told the high yield points and you will find it extremely helpful. Right? So please listen my audio. Everyone, I will request to please listen my audio before going through any topic. It is free for all. It is available on YouTube. So today my topic is if your patient is having paraparesis and this is upper motor neuron type of lesion. So then what is differential and what is diagnosis, right? This we will decide on the basis of sensory system. In sensory system, this also I have told in my previous lecture that what are 5 types of sensation and in PACES exam which sensation you have to check, right? I am not going to repeat it today. If you people want, just let me know, I can repeat in my next lecture, right? So if your patient is having, before examining sensory system, you concluded that your patient is having paraparesis and this is upper motor neuron type of lesion, right? So now you will examine the sensory system and you will narrow down your differential. So number 1, you examine the sensory system, right? But you found that the sensation is normal. There is no problem in the sensory system. So then what differentials you should think of? You should think of motor neuron disease, number 1. In the exam, do not use word motor neuron disease, rather use anterior horn cell disease, right? Then hereditary spastic paraparesis, sagittal tumor, right? And also you will think of multiple sclerosis, right? These four differentials you will think of. Inshallah, I will tell the relevant examination for these differentials also, right? So again, I'm going to repeat. You examine the sensory system, but you found out that sensation was normal. So you will think of anterior horn cell disease, which is MND, motor neuron disease, hereditary spastic paraparesis, parasagittal tumor, and multiple sclerosis, right? So now now come to the second point. You examine the sensory system and you found sensory level, right? At specific point, and I hope all of you know what is meaning of sensory level. Like you were examining lower limb, but down there were no sensation, but you found a point where patient can feel it. So it means patient is having sensory level. So then you will think of cord compression, right? Cord compression, and it could be due to tumors, it could be due to any abscess, any cyst, any fractured vertebrae might be compressing, right? This is the second option, right? Cord compression. Third, you examined the lower limb sensory system, but you found out that there is dissociative sensory loss. Do you know what is meaning of dissociative sensory loss? It means pain sensation is lost and posterior column is intact. In posterior column there are two sensations. Anybody can tell me what are those two sensations?
Vibration and position sense.
Excellent, Dr. Mutia. So yes, vibration and position sense. In the exam you have to do three sensations, right? I told you in my previous lecture. Pain, vibration and proprioception. If still you are very much short of time, so you can do pain and position sense, right? You can leave vibration sensation. So you examined sensory system and you found that there is dissociative sensory loss. So you will think of two differentials, and those are syringomyelia and anterior spinal artery occlusion, right? Right. Fourth case, you examined lower limb sensory system and dorsal column was affected, right? So which differential you will think of then? Now you will think of MAST. MAST is a mnemonic. MAST. M, right? ASTT. MAST. This is mnemonic actually. I will tell you what it stands for. So you will think of MAST. It's M. First M, it stands for multiple sclerosis. Second M, it stands for myelopathy, cervical myelopathy, right? A, it stands for ataxia, Friedreich ataxia, right? S, it stands for second. Second is subacute combined degeneration of spinal cord, right? Then T. First T is for taboparesis, second T is for tropical spastic paraparesis. So in this case, you will think of MAST. Till now, it is clear. If any differential is not clear, you can raise your question. I will repeat it.
Dr. Aisha, can you repeat this MAST abbreviation?
Yes, sure. This is MAST, actually M, ASTT. The first M, it stands for multiple sclerosis. Second M, it stands for myelopathy, which is cervical myelopathy. A, it stands for ataxia, which is Friedreich ataxia. S, it stands for SACID, like SACID is subacute combined degeneration of spinal cord. Double T. The first T, it stands for tabopresis. The second T, it stands for tropical spastic paraparesis. So in this way, when you will be examining the sensory system, you will make your differential, you will sort out differentials in at the back of your mind, right? And then you will do the relevant examination now. Here lies the importance of relevant examination, right? That's why I emphasize always that if the command is examine lower limb, follow the command and finish the steps, basic steps of lower limb examination within 4 minutes. These differentials you will sort out at the back of your mind, and then you will spare the last 2 minutes and you will do the relevant examination. Right, so now I'm quickly going to revise it. I'm going to repeat it. If anybody has missed any differential, then you can write. So we were at the point that if your patient is having paraparesis and upper motor neuron type of DA, so which differential you will think? This will be decided on when you will examine the sensory system, right? You did inspection, you examine motor system, now examining the sensory system. Kindly mute your mics to avoid disturbance for other doctors. So you examine the sensory system and you found that sensation, there is no sensory abnormality. Sensation is normal. So you will think of MND, which is in the exam, you will say it anterior horn cell disease, hereditary spastic paraparesis, parasagittal tumor, multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis can present in various ways, right? This is, it has it has many dynamic presentations. Multiple sclerosis, right? Then you examine the sensory system and you found that your patient is having sensory level. So you will think of cord compression, right? Then you examine the patient and you found that your patient is having dissociative sensory loss, right? I told you the meaning of dissociative sensory loss. It means loss of pain sensation but preserve dorsal column. And dorsal column, I told you, it comprises of two sensations, right? Proprioception and vibration. So if there is dissociative sensory loss, you will think of two differential, syringomyelia and anterior spinal artery occlusion, right? If your patient is having dorsal column involvement, right, dorsal column or posterior column, you will think of MAST. MAST is a mnemonic, M-A-S-T. In this, M is double M, T is double T, right? So first M, it stands for multiple sclerosis. Second M, it stands for myelopathy, which is cervical myelopathy. A, it stands for ataxia, which is Friedreich ataxia. S, it stands for SACID, which is subacute combined degeneration of spinal cord. Then first T, it stands for tabopresis. Next T, it stands for tropical spastic paraparesis, right? These differentials you will sort out in your mind, at the back of your mind, and then you will do the relevant examination. Let's say, now I am just quoting one example. I am just quoting the example that if your patient was having sensory level, let's say, right? So what is the differential? Which differential I told you? For the cord compression, oh my god, I uttered from my mouth. So for the sensory level, cord compression, right? So for this, what is the relevant examination then? Anybody will like to tell me?
Again, Doctora, please.
For the if you examine the sensory system of your patients for the lower limbs and you found that there is sensory level, so the diagnosis or the differential is cord compression. So for this, what you will look for? What is the relevant examination?
Examination of the back for any deformity, tenderness.
Very nice. And what else? Yes, Dr. Sana, you will tell.
Back examination and sphincter examination.
So how you will do sphincter examination in the cases?
We'll just verbalize that we would like to rule out any sphincter problem by doing digital rectal examination.
For this, the better is because you will be short of time and the command was examine lower limb, right? And usually candidates, they are unable to finish lower limb examination within 6 minutes. This I am telling
We
you
can
the
also examine the gait as well, sorry.
exactly. So if there is cord compression, the first very right you will examine the back, and the back you will examine for any dressing, right? These things should be in your mind that what you have to look for. You will examine the back for any dressing, for any deformity, right? You will scrape your hand over all the back of patient just to show the examiner. In a good inspection, you will look for any sinus, for any discharge, for any abscess, for any swelling, for any redness, for any fistula, right? These all things you will look for, and then you can examine the gait. So, very right. This is the relevant examination. So, if you found that your patient is having the sensory system is normal, so what differential should come into your mind?
Anterior horn cells and multiple sclerosis.
Right. Okay.
Hereditary spastic paraparesis.
Very right. And what else?
Any anterior horn cell disorder or parasitical meningioma.
Excellent. So, what relevant examination you will do for this then?
For the relevant
when you-
examination.
Yeah, relevant examination when you found that your patient, the sensory system is normal for your patient.
For motor neuron disease examination for any wasting or fasciculation and the presence of mixed upper and lower motor neuron signs.
And cerebellar.
Tongue
Okay.
examination.
Which one?
Tongue examination for any wasting and fasciculation and speech.
Okay, good. So quickly, I will tell you the high yield points which you have to do. Number one, yeah, yes, very right, Dr. Abdurrahim. The first thing you will inspect the hands and also the lower limb for any wasting. Number two, you will check the fasciculations. This already you are checking in the lower limb when you are examining, right? Such patients can have fasciculations, right? Then you will look for fasciculations in the tongue, right? And these are very prominent and very easy to diagnose. And when you will ask patient, can you open your mouth? Here one mistake candidate are doing, that candidates are asking patient, can you open your mouth and show me your tongue, right? Do not tell patient show me your tongue, because in this way he will take his tongue out and fasciculations will disappear. You will ask patient, can you just open your mouth and you will examine the tongue resting in the floor of mouth, and how fasciculations will appear. You will feel that as snakes are crawling, and really it feels like this. Many of you must have appreciated like this. It's very easy to diagnose. You will feel that snakes are crawling in the patient mouth, and this you will inspect when the tongue is resting in the floor of mouth. If patient is taking out his tongue out, then you will not be able to appreciate the fasciculation. Right? So quickly, you can at least examine this and your time will finish. The examination of speech, okay, such patients can have, because MND is again of 4 types. Na? Actually today my topic is not MND, inshallah I can keep my lecture. It is of 4 types. Patients can have different types of speech, right? So patients can have nasal quality speech. So you can just ask patient one sentence that what brought you here today? What brought you here today, right? So in this way you can just make an idea. So this will be enough. So then if your patient is having dissociative sensory loss, quickly I am going to recap it. So if your patient is having dissociative sensory loss, so what relevant examination you will do?
Hand, if there is burn area in the hand, that means syringomyelia.
Okay.
Examination of the back also.
Examination of back?
Yes.
Why?
For any section of the. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. This is just a practice.
Brown squat syndrome. Sorry.
And wasting of the muscle, small muscle.
Okay, wasting of small muscles of hand. So, one question I want to ask here, how wasting will appear to you? When you can say confidently that your patient is having wasting of small muscles of hand? What are the signs?
Dorsal guttering of the muscles, like a first dorsal interossea, you'll see it wasted.
Excellent. And all dorsal guttering on the dorsum of hand. So then you will say that your patient is having wasting of small muscles of hand, right? In this way, confidently you can say these are the signs. So for syringomyelia, you will look. There are 2 differential I told you, na? Anterior spinal artery occlusion and syringomyelia. For anterior spinal artery occlusion, you will just check the pulse and it will be normal, because anterior spinal artery occlusion patient, they will not give you in the PACES. In the PACES, they are giving you stable patient, the patients who can wait in the lobby for 8 hours, right? But anyway, this you have to do in front of examiner. You will check the pulse, then you will check the upper limbs, right? Upper limbs, you will check for the dorsal guttering, wasting of small muscles of hand. You will look for any fasciculations. You can write fasciculations, any scars or ulcers, then any Charcot joint of elbow. So there are other signs of syringomyelia as well, but at least in 2 minutes, please try to see this, right? And again, today my topic is not syringomyelia, so I am not going into details of syringomyelia. I am telling the relevant examination. So then, if your patient's dorsal column is affected, what relevant examination you will do?
Romberg signs.
Romberg sign, okay.
Argyll Robinson eye. I will see the eye for any feature of tabes dorsalis, you mean?
Okay.
Cerebellar signs for Friedrich's.
Okay, cerebellar signs. Very right.
Pallor for anemia.
Very right. Good.
I will examine the neck for any feature of myelopathy.
Good. And you will examine the features for multiple sclerosis and triadequitics. Right? Inshallah, in my any lecture, I will tell in detail about triadequitexia or multiple sclerosis, and then you will know. So these are the relevant examination which you have to do. I have recorded my audios also on the neurology on every topic. Please, you can listen to that as well, right? And in spastic paraparesis, what could be the gait like? There are two types of gait which patients can have. What are those two types of
Seizure gait in spastic paraparesis.
Very right.
High steppage gait.
Excellent. Very right. So these two types of gait, scissor gait and high steppage gait you can get, but as patients are having a spasticity, right? So this high steppage gait may not be prominent. So, but anyway, you will examine the question. What is this, Dr. Gandu? What is, repeat the question please, wasting of tricep fat means what you want to ask? I didn't understand. So, any question about today's lecture you can ask. Otherwise, you can ask in my groups as well. I will be happy to answer.
We need
This
to
lecture
continue
will be in
on
the YouTube too, Doctora.
Yes, doctor?
This lecture will be in the YouTube.
Yes, it is in my audios. I have recorded audio on spastic paraparesis. So it is available on the YouTube as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
We need to continue on other sessions, the other differential diagnosis of upper motor neuron
Inshallah.
lesion and monoparesis and the other.
Inshallah, Dr. Abdurrahim, inshallah, I'll keep my lecture over other differentials, and one by one we will finish lower limb and then I will come to the upper limb.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, Dr. Hala.
Yes, doctor. I want the link for your YouTube channel, please.
Okay. Are you in which group you are, Dr. Hala?
I am in group Medina pieces. Yeah.
Okay, I'll share there. I'll share my.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure.
Okay. Thank
sure.
you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Welcome. I'll share my YouTube links and my audios, audio link also. So my audios you people can hear while driving, the girls can hear while cooking, while looking after their babies, and when you are in a no mode to study, you can listen my audio. Because many candidates they are giving me feedback like this, that how this is how they are listening my audios. So please listen. This is free for all. I know I'm not charging for this, and you will find it extremely helpful. I have recorded on all stations, and for history station 2 I have posted the PDF of differential. If you are not having, I'll post in the group again, then you can have. Yes, Dr. Salah, actually I think one day before I am announcing, and you know what happens? If I announce 2 days before, there are so many messages in the groups that this message may be masked, and doctors sometimes they forget or they are unable to see or like this. So that's why I post on the same day or 1 day before. Yes, Dr. Sana, sure, I will share.